Hello, everybody. Welcome to our open office hours. It's an unusual day. We are here on a Tuesday and not a Thursday, and in the afternoon. So this is I think this is the original time that we used to have open office hours when we first started them, like 2 years ago. I think it was Tuesday afternoons. I could be wrong. I don't know.
What's up 2 p.m. Eastern, folks?
Yeah. Probably a different set of people than our Thursday 11 a.m. Eastern people. But today we're having this Ask Me Anything with Jason, our CEO and co-founder at PMPro Plus, because it is the last day for our lifetime sale. So we do have a lifetime plus plan. That's normally $3,000, but you can save 40% up till midnight tonight. So we've got a few questions for Jason, and we're here to answer all of them, from anything about the lifetime sale to getting started with PMPro Plus, or maybe unblocking a roadblock that you had and you're not starting, but you're kind of in it. So, yeah.
We're good.
If you submitted questions, let us know that you're here so we can make sure that we grab them.
Yeah, right. Say hi in the chat, and we'll cross-reference by name. And I'll answer anything you ask, but like Sam said, we'll focus on folks who are thinking about the lifetime deal, or maybe just bought the lifetime deal or one of our other paid plans and need some help getting started. I know if this spurs some questions last minute, making a membership website is really hard. And we struggle with conveying, this is a big deal. You're doing stuff without just scaring people away. We also, but what we don't do is say it's easy. We famously scrub the word easy from our website. We're we're not going to fool people. This is actually tough. And we try to streamline things as much as possible and help you by having smart defaults and things. But something we learned early on is everyone's membership site is a little bit different, and it needs to be flexible. And there's tons of options for how to do things. There's 5 different ways to do it. We have 90 add-ons, and do you have to install all of them? No. So if you kind of have an open-ended question, I'm trying to do something like this, which way seems the right way to do it? Those are the perfect kinds of things that we can help you fast forward through some research and just move on with focus. So let's get some questions. Do we want to pull some from chat? Or is anybody who pre-submitted in chat?
We can start with chat. I do see that Martin and Jerry that they submitted questions in our Slack community. They are here as well, so we will make sure that we grab those pre-submitted. But let's go ahead and start with Sure Resource. Actually submitted a couple questions before we went live, so I'll pull those up. Sure Resource said, I have 2 items that I'm having issues with. And while I'm talking Sure Resource, I think your second question got cut off. So if you could submit that again for us. But the first question is, my membership email doesn't go to my membership email. It goes to my admin email address.
Yeah. So, I think we default those emails to go to the website admin, the same on the general settings admin in, the WordPress dashboard. And maybe I can share my screen to hand wave a little bit. Let's do this. Disclaimer, this is one of my dev sites, and I'm often testing things. So it's a weird site. So we go to settings, general. Pretty sure by default, when someone checks out on your site, we send an email. We send a digest email. Anytime Paid Memberships Pro wants to send an email to the admin, we're gonna, basically send it to this website here. And then let me look. We have email settings in here, and this is where you might expect to be able to override this. You can change where the email's coming from, and we have some help on, filtering. This is actually good to leave unchecked. I don't know why this is still a thing by default. WordPress thinks you should send email from WordPress at whatever.com, but you probably want to override this to, be your real name. So double check that. And then this is about WordPress default notification. You don't really need it because the confirmation email for a membership checkout usually serves the same purpose as that notification email. So you're like, oh yeah, there's no setting here to change like where the PMPro emails go. We do have a tutorial on our site on how to do that though. And let me check one more thing. When you go to email templates, yeah, so if you go to like admin change admin. So if you look at the templates here, it's like if an admin changes a user, it sends an email to the user, and then it also sends a confirmation to the admin when the, these admin ones are the ones that go to the admin. And if we edit this, you also can't change where it goes. That would be a good feature. I think we've had that feature request for quite a while. And that's one of those things where I just showed you 3 different screens where maybe this could possibly go. One of them is the default WordPress admin, and we do 80% of people, according to our surveys, is like one admin is like mostly managing the site, but you can have multiple admins, and so it gets kind of confusing. And I think I don't know if we're overthinking it, but like I know like we have some stuff about how to change that. But this is the beauty of WordPress and Paid Memberships Pro, is that stuff is customizable, and someone can share this. I'm not logged in to be able to comment back. And I'm scared to click that join chat button. It's going to like log me out, but I think we can find this one. And there's a custom gist that you can install on your site, and you can change, or you can BCC additional emails. And I think we have a version probably, or if you ask our support, there's a version out there floating to like just replace, the admin. So yeah. So there's a code gist that you can copy and paste there. If for some other reason you don't want to change the admin email of your site, you could also change the admin email of your site to be the same person that you want to get the Paid Memberships Pro emails. Awesome. Oh, there's a second question that was halfway there. Stripe not canceling.
Yeah. So the other part of the full thing is Stripe does not cancel the membership and continues to bill the X member. So I guess the member.
Yeah. Cancels on site.
Members that cancels their membership, and then Stripe is not canceling it and continues to bill the X member.
Yeah, as long as we can. I don't know if what should I should have like a good default. I wish I had like a.
Our homepage is pretty.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm just talking. Yeah. That's a bug of some sort. Something's broken, because when Paid Memberships Pro cancels, assuming that you have like your Stripe API key set or you've connected through Stripe Connect, like we're going to try to talk to Stripe. And if someone subscribed on your site through Stripe, like we maintain a synchronization between the subscription and Paid Memberships Pro and the subscription at Stripe. And we definitely try to send that cancellation message to Stripe. And so that must be breaking. And if you're a paying member, just if you open a support ticket, and our team can kind of gain access to your site and look around. And if you're on Stripe Connect, we can also look in to your subscriptions, like on the Stripe side, and see what's going on there. I'm trying to think of some high level debugging that you could try. Like where like error logs might show up with that breaking.
I'm also trying to find in our documentation where you can like check your webhook status, because because that could be an indication of.
Yeah, when you go to, I wonder if I'm connected on Stripe. When you go to the Stripe settings, or actually you could do this. Like this is a cancel subscription, but if you go to the subscriptions tab and then look at a subscription that's supposed to be active, and then click the sync with the gateway button, you should see updated information here. And, like I said, this is a dev site that's probably connected to like a Stripe account that doesn't exist anymore and stuff like that. So I see an error, but hopefully you see status, the status that's appropriate for that subscription. And you could look at subscriptions that have been canceled and kind of check as well. Although if you've canceled the subscription, I think you can still click that sync, and it's actually like weird. I'm actually not sure what would happen there. I don't think it would like re-enable the subscription on the PMPro side, but it might show you like a useful error. The other thing is if you go to settings and then go to payments and then go to the Stripe settings, we have this handy table here that shows like your webhook history. And again, like my dev site is not on the internet. And so you wouldn't expect this to kind of work. Like the webhooks aren't actually going to work on my site. The webhook is when Stripe sends a message to your site. So if someone cancels on Stripe and it stays active locally, that would happen if the webhooks were breaking. In the situation where you cancel on your site and it doesn't relay a message to Stripe, that's not a webhook issue. But it could be an indication, like, you know, if you're kind of out of sync with Stripe, you would see that here as well, potentially.
I dropped that link that of the settings that you're in right now. I dropped the link in about that.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good resource.
Let me connect to my own test in case we have more Stripe questions. Oh, let me have a key.
I just removed your screen temporarily so you can.
Okay.
In case you had like keys or something.
No, I had fake keys in there, so it's not.
Okay.
This is my dev site. It's okay. I'm back. But yeah, look for a message there, and I mean, you might see on the Stripe side, which is harder for me to. I could do that offline and try to find. But if you dig into Stripe, find the customer, look at the subscription, and then towards the bottom of that screen, there's like events or log, activity log. That shows like everything related to that subscription. And if you scroll through that list, it's kind of complicated. There's lots of techno jargon in there that is confusing. But there may be one in there. It's like subscription cancel hook. And it may have an error, like why Stripe isn't obeying it. And we've had lots of weird things. If you move from like another membership plugin or another SaaS for memberships and you imported users, sometimes Stripe is like, no, you created that subscription with someone else. I'm not going to let PMPro delete it. There's weird things that maybe we're not catching and showing you correctly. So hopefully it helps. Otherwise, ask our team and we'll help out more. We can take a look at your specific site.
All right. The next question is from Thomas. Their question is about getting new members to buy memberships. Right now, they have 2 membership levels, but in order for someone to purchase one, they have to be logged in.
So I think getting new members, they have to log in. I don't know if the question is we definitely require a login after checkout. Like we create a user and then create a login. And so it creates there's a WordPress user account. And I think some people maybe, is there a way for me to sell something without a user account? Like there used to be kind of sort of ways to do that with PMPro, and now you can't do that with PMPro anymore. We're too tied. Like a member is a user, and you have to have a user to attach the membership to for us to keep track of that person even before they become a member. Like we want to keep track of them at checkout. We can do kind of like failed checkout checks, and we can kind of keep track of the checkout process with them. If maybe there's but by default, if you're logged out and you check out, it asks for account information. It should automatically create an account and log them in. I kind of assume that's happening. If this person's in chat, they can maybe clarify some of the issues. I do know it's a little tricky though. Like if you, someone already has an account, but you want to like send like a mailing list item to them. And so you send them a link to something, but they have to log in before they get the right version of that. Or maybe if you have prorating happening, you want to remind them to log back in. Or if you're doing, account approval process or something, there's kind of times when you're emailing people and you want them to log back in. And there's kind of a trick. Maybe if you bring my screen back up, I could show something.
Someone also in the chat said that in regards to Thomas's issue, they had that problem and found that they had to disable Jetpack.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Jetpack is weird with logins. Like it's like, do you want to log in with your WordPress.com account instead of, other things like that? And so if you can avoid, Jetpack does a lot of stuff. So maybe you need it, or maybe, I don't know if you can disable just the login component or avoid it, or from our settings page. Sometimes, and this is not just Jetpack, but like this is kind of a problem with WordPress in general, is that there was no one in charge in WordPress core that thought, let's make like front end logins and make sure everyone does it the same way. And so everyone who wants a front end login, like when you log in, you don't want to see the WordPress logo. You want to see like your website and the user to feel like they're logging into your site and not WordPress. So disable the Jetpack login if you can, or Jetpack if you're able to. But other plugins like WooCommerce and like some themes and things, they try to create a login page. We also create a login page. We used to, lobby for WordPress to do it in general, but that never happened. So it's like, hey, we have to create our own page too. But sometimes you can, if you're having trouble with a couple systems competing over the login, you can open a support ticket and we can kind of figure out how to nuke the other plugin to stop trying to override logins. And maybe this is a blog post. We can take a note here. Like I bet if Jetpack doesn't have a setting, I think it doesn't. I think the login is like a really important component of how Jetpack interacts with, their service.
Yeah, they said the person who had the Jetpack issue said Jetpack seems to be overriding PMPro's permission requirement. But I'm also curious, Thomas, if you're listening, is the issue you're having the way that the site is set up? Do you have it to where you have to be like
maybe
you have
send a
your
link if he's okay
checkout
with us
links behind a paywall in a sense?
Sometimes
because
that
if
happens.
you could put content restrictions on those checkout links to get to checkout. And so if your question is really just how can you get people in your funnel and check out that way, I don't know, like that, my brain just said maybe that's the way it was accidentally set up. And
I've definitely seen that before. That's a good catch. Like there's a lot of these things. It's like we have a long list of things and we're like, let's try to keep people from shooting themselves in the foot. But it's actually, it's hard to code these things. But on the checkout page, sometimes you might accidentally say like, oh, I don't know, this page is for all members. But really it's for none. People could be logged out on this. You need that to not be set. And so we should hide this on the checkout page, but there's also setups where you have multiple checkout pages, or you're using something like WooCommerce to check out, or you're doing something else. So a lot of these things are kind of easier said than done to help people avoid issues like that. That's a good one. I also was going to recommend what I was talking about with the mailing list thing. If you're sending emails to people, and they have to be logged in for something else, because sometimes maybe you want them to log in to checkout so they get prorated, so they buy the same plan. Because if you come to the site by email, and I'm logged in now, let me log out. So we go back to the site, and let's say you link someone directly to this page. If they sign up with the same, I don't forget the email I use for this, but if I use the same email address, it's going to give me an error and say, hey, you can't buy, you have an account already, and here's your email. And we show a pretty decent error message with a link to log in, and people might be like, oh yeah, I have to log in. But sometimes they're like, I don't remember my password, I don't know what I'm doing. But you can do this. You can send people to the login page and then say redirect _2 equals, and then the page you want to send them to. And what this does is it'll take them to the login page first. And if they happen to still be logged in, it'll just skip this and they won't even notice. But then this kind of prompts them to log in first. And then once they're logged in, it redirects them onto the checkout page. So we use that flow in a lot of our, when we send emails out in our mailing list. There's another trick, and I don't know if we have a post about this. We can find and post it later, especially if he, reaches out and confirms that's the issue. I program something on some sites where if you're trying to pay, it'll take the money and then just not log them in. So that case where you're trying to check out for Jason at paidmembershipspro.com, that's my email. Go ahead, spam me. But you're checking out with that email, and then it's going to give you an error like, hey, you got to log in as Jason if you want to check out. Sometimes you'll be like, well, take the money and then show them the error page on the confirmation screen and just don't log them in. Because it's very rare. And actually sometimes there's use cases like I'm paying my grandmother's subscription to her HOA for her, and I don't want to, I don't know. Sometimes there's cases where you pay for other people. Thanks. Yeah. I wish. Rest in peace, grandmoms. But but that's and that's also good for the donation. If you have donations on your site, that's a good flow. It's kind of just let this guy donate. They don't remember their password for the membership, and I don't want to push them through the forgot password. They were watching my ad, they're watching my live stream, and they want to pay now. Take the money and then figure it out later. For brand new users, you want to, but I'm pretty sure we have a gist somewhere that does something like that, and we can find that. But I'll share it if. But anyway, all right, yeah, login's complicated. Like, so if you have more details on that, you can chime in if we're still streaming, or reach out to support, and we'll try to fix your specific login issues. It's the bane of our existence here. Yeah.
Mary has a question. My customers are having issues with the term level in automated generated emails and menus. How can I change that word to something that makes sense on my site, like class or course?
Yeah, we have a custom gist for that as well. Did I?
There, okay.
Yeah.
That was a good keyword that you searched. I was going to give you one if it didn't work.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because I searched for this one a lot.
So we'll share that. Someone will share this link in the chat. But it has some information on how to change the word of that. And so it's code again. So there are tools, I think, like Loco Translate is one we like, where it'll show a bunch of, and you could use that in addition to this, but Loco Translate will, these things are called strings. Like anytime text is shown on your website, or usually when text is shown on your WordPress site, it's a string and it gets registered as such. And that way, that's how language packs work. So it can get translated from English into Spanish and other languages that we support. It's kind of like, we have these files that's, how do you translate membership subscription into another language? But you don't have to change that for other languages. You can make it say whatever you want. So that Loco Translate tool will show you all the strings for every plugin. And you can search for the ones that say level and then swap out level. That'll get a lot of them. And then there's a few left. And that's why we have this article, is like, there's a few that are generated programmatically in ways that like Loco Translate won't see. And so, there's a couple calls in here. So it kind of basically does a search and replace every time like these strings are shown. And
I did a Coding with Sam episode on this one. Yeah, so cool. I did show how to use this code recipe. And just as a note, it's not a catch-all. So, I mean, it's not foolproof.
Here it is.
There may still be some places that use the word like membership or level.
Yeah, like even
and things, but it does help quite a bit.
This gets most of them.
Yeah.
You also like the names of the pages that we generate. You can always change those. So we call like account and membership checkout. So if you go to the settings, I'm logged out.
You have to log back in. If you remember.
Let's try. Okay, that worked. Go to settings. And then what was it? Oh yeah, page settings. And then, the checkout page, we call it membership-checkout. If you click here to edit the page, you can change the name over here, and you can change the slug over here. This is called the slug. It's also like the part of the URL related to the page. So if you wanted to get rid of, membership, you could do that and just call this checkout. And, I think we're kind of ready to make that page. We're a little bit in a mode. I saw there's like I'm upset with WordPress question. We could segue into that. But, we used to have, I think the WordPress ecosystem is changing, where we were trying to make a membership plugin that didn't, go outside its lane. It just handled memberships, and maybe you'd use other plugins to handle other things. And we didn't want a lot of add-ons. We're like, let someone else build like a really good directory plugin and we'll integrate with it. But kind of the WordPress ecosystem was moving towards both people not cooperating in the business world, like both, automatic behind WordPress itself, or like other plugins in the space, just, kind of, there's incentives like not to share the code or stay in your lane. You can make a lot of money, like, doing the things that other people are doing. And then our customers were like, I realized I could use another plugin to get a front end login, but I want your version of the front end login because I love Paid Memberships Pros and, and how you guys do things. So, we're a little bit in that mindset. So that's, anyway, I'm rambling about why we chose membership-checkout instead of just checkout. And we were like, oh, we have to play nice. There's other plugins that already try to create a checkout page, and we don't want to confuse people by overriding it. And we want to make it really clear for them if they're using WooCommerce and Paid Memberships Pro together, that, which is which. But we're like, actually, yeah, screw that. Like, let's put the URL. Like if I was setting up a site, this is the URL that I think most people want. We're going to do that URL. And if there's a conflict, these other plugins can figure it out. And of course, like we have a good support team to help on our side too. So yeah, that's like that's like one example, like this, what we name the pages is like, let's make sure we don't step on other people's toes and name our pages well and make sure other login plugins work. And we're a little bit, we still do that as much as possible. Like, why break things if you don't have to? But sometimes when there's these, like, we're all fighting over like the word checkout, it's like, my checkout page is going to be called checkout. And, you know, we're going to, that's what people expect. That's what they want. And we'll try to handle the conflicts. And that's kind of, there's a question, I don't know if you can put on the screen around.
The one about PMPro and
yeah, like, or the, yeah, yep. Was that a comment? Yeah.
Yeah. So EFCEE says, we love PMPro, but we are loving WordPress less and less. We've started to build sites with Statamic, I guess that's how you say it, as an alternative to WordPress. I wonder whether the PMPro team is considering venturing beyond WordPress.
Yeah. So as I was saying, there's kind of like, we're feeling this pressure too. Paid Memberships Pro is built on top of WordPress, and we don't have any plans to build like a version of Paid Memberships Pro that doesn't run on WordPress. It's too important and integral to the coding. One thing that we are ready to do is like fork WordPress and call it PMPro platform, like if we need to. So that way, you know, there's certain changes to WordPress that, like, if it becomes untenable for our sites, it's like breaking our sites or something like that. Like, we're ready to, like, okay, we have our own version of WordPress, or we just call PMPro platform. It includes an older version of WordPress that we're actually the latest version, but we'll like fix it to not do the things that we don't like. But that doesn't necessarily, you know, you're still going to use other plugins. It's, you know, still going to be WordPress and function as WordPress under the cover. And it's going to, you know, be coded in PHP that's 20 years old and stuff. And I'm building side projects and working, and we're always like, you know, helping people integrate with other apps. Like we're not only in the WordPress space, we're aware of like how other ways people build websites. And there's lots of good reasons to use stuff like Statamic and other, you know, static site generators. Every time I deal with a security issue, I'm like, oh, like everything is going to be static. Like it's too risky to put something on the web that isn't static. And this is getting technical, but I mean, we can clarify, but like, it's kind of, that makes it hard because you actually want people to interact with your site. So then you have to open up some way to interact, like to add comments or check out and do things that can't possibly be static. But if you kind of put more of the bones of the website in a static mode, it like gives you security benefits. Also, like AI is getting better and is really good at just, writing HTML and CSS. So it's funny, like we've all spent time building these builders and Gutenberg and blocks and all these ways to give people a GUI that they can tweak and knob things how they want, which is useful. And I do think it'll always be there. But if you're kind of in the pattern of like, let me ask the AI how to build this, like the AI knows how to use HTML, CSS, and then like the very popular UI frameworks, like, I don't know, I'm blanking on the name of one, but it's kind of like, if you ask AI to build something, it's not necessarily easy to copy and paste that into WordPress, but in certain formats, it's like, you know, the AI is better at building websites on these other technologies. And so people are going to start moving to that. And I mean, it's kind of fun, you know, just building things up through files. You know, I've been like coding some stuff where you just want to write in plain text or markdown and just have it automatically become a blog post. And it's really nice that you don't have to like fiddle with things. So anyway, we're fans, but we're not necessarily going to build Paid Memberships Pro in like a different version for non-WordPress sites. We may at some point build, and you could do this now. So if you're like a special case, like you're moving from WordPress and Paid Memberships Pro to something else, and maybe you want something in the interim, or you want to set something up like this, you know, long-term, people do this already, where you build a very bare bones WordPress and Paid Memberships Pro site that basically only has Paid Memberships Pro and core WordPress and users. And that's where you check out. And that's where admins log in and manage memberships. But the actual content or app or whatever you're selling site is somewhere else. And then you can use APIs behind the scene to either single sign on, so you can't sign into the app until you have access. I can share a fun one, maybe, if you share my screen.
They also commented to add a Statamic
Statamic.
I
I don't, yeah.
Statamic. I don't know why I can't say that. Is
Laravel.
actually not only about static, it's also about adopting the Laravel framework, where PHP seems more secure and encapsulated in a way WordPress is not.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Laravel is another kind of, I read a book called, Building Web Apps with WordPress. It's about using WordPress as a programming framework for building apps. And Laravel is out of the box built as the intent. Like WordPress is kind of accidentally a framework. And I think now, like no one, not even, Matt Mullenweg, who talked about this before, is earnestly pursuing using WordPress as an application framework. But Laravel, that's what it does. So yeah, you get kind of like, it's for apps, and it feels a little bit better in some ways. But yeah, what you could do, and maybe if you're kind of all aboard, I think Laravel is building membership and e-commerce components, and it's probably best to figure out how to get their version of it. And then maybe just advocate for the stuff that we care about. And we are open source. So if it's kind of like, hey, PayMasters Pro does this cool approvals thing, just look at how the GUI and the code works for it. And maybe we can build like the Laravel, not us personally, but someone can build the Laravel version of it. But I'll show you kind of logging in here. I'm logging into a WordPress site here, and now I have access to some blog content, but we also have this app. The Pools is an app. And so if I go to app.underdogs.win, this is like an app built on React and is it called React Native, like the mobile friendly version of React, and Node.js and things like that. And it's built with like a single sign-on mechanism, so that when you're logged in when you hit this page, if you're not logged in, it checks in with WordPress and says, hey, like this guy logged in, he's Jason and he's an admin on the site, and he should be able to, interact with our web app here to make our NFL picks. So this is just like an example of that, of how to do that. And we have some posts about how to use API. Actually, the specific way that we did it for this, we don't have a blog post on. It's using, I don't know. I could try to look in the admin. I forget. There's like a plugin that we use. This OpenID Connect Server plugin. So there's a module on the React side that interacts with this OpenID Connect Server, and then I think we have some custom code in one of these, like this login bridge. We have some custom code across like a few different plugins actually to like make this work with PayMasters Pro and things. And so actually, if you end up looking into like OpenID Connect Server, like ask that question in our support, and then I'll try to send a message to them with some of the info on how we did it. We did it on that site in a specific way, but there's different versions of that, and to do single sign-on between apps. So that's a possibility. And we might try to support that like lightweight PMPro mode a little bit more by like with content and themes, and kind of like when we open source our PMPro hosting model, we can talk about the things that we would do. Like, hey, if you were hosting this kind of a site, here's how you would do it, in a secure and lightweight way.
Awesome. All right. I think we're at the point where I'm going to jump to the questions that were pre-submitted, starting with Martin. Okay. And depending on time, I might jump to Jerry before we get to all of Martin's questions, just because there were a few. Okay. They were all awesome. I will say that, Martin. Yeah. And if we don't answer them in the live stream, we will go back to where you submitted them in the community and answer you there. Okay. So Martin's first question is, they would like members to be able to have a choice to either pay yearly for the website manually, where they purchase a level and when it expires or just before, they manually rebuy the level to extend their membership 12 months, or they have the ability to set the auto renew using the checkbox. And Martin wants to know if this needs to be done with 2 separate levels.
Yeah. Let me, it doesn't have to be done with 2 separate levels. Before I talk about a couple other options, there might be some reasons to do it that way. I don't know if this is the case on your site. If it's really only about how they pay, then stay tuned, and some of the methods I talk about is what you want to work on. But it's a lot of times there's different, if you treat those users differently, the people who are expiring and the people who are going to renew. So for example, if they're expiring, you want to be able to send an email to all of them. You know, you can set up renewal emails and change the templates and stuff. But if you want to kind of email ad hoc those users separately, it's sometimes nice to keep track of them as a separate user. Or if there's some other real world connection to the people who are manually renewing and the people who are only bought in for 1 year, it's not terrible. We see a lot of people just create 2 different levels, and then it's easier to keep track of those 2 types of customers. But it sounds like that's not really the case. So I think you were trying to use our auto renewal checkbox add-on, which is built with this in mind. As you see in the graphics here, you set up a level, and then it's like, would you like to automatically renew or not? Check yes or no. And a lot of the other membership plugins don't necessarily have this functionality. And I know why, because it's a little bit complicated for us to keep this, to make this work with all of our other checkout related add-ons. So be careful. I don't know if we put some information about how it works or not, but I mean,
there's compatibility notes towards the bottom of the page.
Yeah, is that at the bottom? There you go. Yeah, there's a couple add-ons that, and I think if you actually try to set it up, it'll start making sense, because you're like, wait, how's it supposed to know how to do this? And then you need like kind of a custom solution potentially. But yeah, this should work. And I think we read in some of the, you know, the question that was submitted. I don't know if there's like something wrong with actually, let's test it really quick. I'm in here. Let's go back to WordPress. Let's add that add-on, and I'll try to add it according to the documentation and make sure it works. So I'm going to install this add-on.
Also testing my documentation to make sure my documentation's accurate.
Yeah, this one is tricky, because even when we were talking, Sam and I was like, do you set it up to expire and then it automatically makes it recurring, or you set it up recurring and it automatically makes it expire, or you set it up both ways? I think you kind of it's a little confusing how you set it up. So let me see what I'm saying here. But let's see how it works. Okay, this is kind of like, this is what it does. Installation, we installed settings. So go to settings, levels, edit the level, set up the initial payment and the recurring subscription. In the other settings, locate the auto renewal settings. And you know what? Maybe it shows like a scary add-on or message about not doing that. Let's see what happens. Hold on, because you don't want to do that if you don't have auto renewal checkbox working. And it's funny, like I haven't worked on this code, so I was like, I actually don't know how it works. I'm going to edit my premium level, and it said, hey, like it's recurring. And then I'm going to also set it to expire. I do think you have to like, and it gives you a warning. It's scary. So I have that add-on active, and it's still giving me a warning.
Where does the documentation say that?
Oh, let me see here. It said initial payment and recurring subscription. Oh, no, it doesn't say do the expiration. Never mind. Okay, sorry. I'm going to slow down. Edit the level, set up the initial payment and the recurring subscription. Cool. So set it up as a recurring subscription. And this might be, I don't know, I'll theorize like why this is complicated. If you had it as an expiring level before, and you're like, now I'm adding the option to renew, you have to change your level to renew, and the option is to expire actually, and it's kind of the opposite of how it works. But okay, the documentation said initial, recurring, and then it should figure out like it's recurring per month. So it's like, hey, expire at the end of the month. If you said recur per year, expire at the end of the year. And then, okay, so then go to other settings, and it says auto renewal. So auto renewal option, and then you can default to checked or unchecked. So it's like, let's say yes, default to checked, and save the level. So this is set up as a recurring subscription. It has the auto renewal setting, default to checked. I'm going to go over here and check out. And so it defaults to check. Would you like to set up automatic renewals? And if I say no, let's check out. Do I have some odd custom fields I was testing apparently. Now my level should expire. Oh, I gotta fake this. 1 second.
14,
This is not my real
14,
credit
14.
card. Wait. Oh my God. Cool. Oh, this is. All right.
So
you
you
know what?
should
This
have an expiration date because you didn't say.
Yeah. And I notice I don't have webhooks working on the site because this is like a local site. So this is going to be weird. It's actually not gonna. I need to like fake. It's waiting for my thing to complete. I think I can fake it. Hopefully.
You should be able to.
Yeah. So if I edit the order.
View the order first.
Yeah, this is new.
It's a 3.6 release. There's a view order before you get to edit the order.
And then how do I change the status? Can I from here? Here we go. Success. I'm actually not sure if this will fake it. We're doing it live. Shoot. Oh, you know, maybe you know what I'll do is I'll switch off the Stripe. And then let me change my gateway to like the test gateway. Payments. Testing only. Okay. And let me go back to that level. Sorry, we're gonna start over. So it's $10 per month, but I'm checking the boxes, but I don't want it to renew. Hold on. I don't like that my autocomplete showing up. Okay. I hope I did enough there. Let's see. All right, confirmation. And I should have an expiration date. I was paid. If I look at my account, my membership expires because I didn't check the box. Right. And then I'm not going to go through it, but
it would be recurring.
Presumably if I check the box. So that is confusing, I think. And we struggle with this. I think some people think about it one way, some people think about it the other way. Like I have a renewal and they can check, uncheck the box to expire, or it usually expires so they can check the box to renew. And those settings are a little confusing. But if you follow the instructions that Sam was involved with, apparently it's working, right? So
it's reverse logic, but it works.
Yeah. All right. What? There were some other questions for Martin here. Maybe we'll do a couple.
Yeah. On the topic of expiring, when a membership level expires, will the user automatically not be able to see the content anymore?
Yeah. So I think by default, if you check a box that says this member requires this membership to view the content, there's lots of add-ons and things that change the nature of that. But if that's the case, then when they lose the membership level, they won't have access to the content anymore after the expiration. And I think when I read in the earlier, I think a confusion that comes up is if you're testing this and so I say, hey, actually, here's me. Here's my member. I'll find my own membership. And I'll
go to the top corner now.
Oh, oops. Yeah, I think this is me.
This
is one of my members. Oh, okay, sorry, thanks. And then I say here and I say, hey, let me add an expiration that's like in the past. I want to see what happens when they expire, and so you say, I'll choose a date in the past and save it. Oh, I wonder what's happening. I don't know what that's actually interesting. Past level ID to add. But
you didn't select the level to technically change the membership.
Oh, it didn't. Oh, okay.
You can edit it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, and I think maybe we stumbled on a bug. We'll have to bug the team. But if you're doing something like this, Oh no, it worked. I don't know what I did wrong there. Oh, because in the future, let me try to pick a day in the past. Hold on. I wonder if it's getting confused. No. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what I did there, but I'm changing the expiration to a day in the past to see what happens. It doesn't actually expire this person immediately. This is another one of those things where like we've talked about this, and we're like, when someone does that, don't they want to cancel the membership? And you're like, I think so, but then wait, couldn't they just have hit cancel? Like, why are they doing this? Like, I guess it's usually like a testing mindset. But what's going to happen is, and maybe I could show, there's like, a scheduled action that runs, I think it's by default every 5 minutes or every 15 minutes. But, it only processes expirations every 15 minutes because PMPro has to update Stripe or tell MailChimp or ConvertKit and tell all these other services about the expiration, and send an email to the user and tell them that they canceled, send an email to the admin and tell them that someone canceled. So it sounds like that's what give us more information or open a ticket if something else is going on with expirations. But this is something common we see where people are testing the expiration and then they're like, hey, I haven't expired, but they probably just have to wait a little bit. And
the other thing that it could be is, I know it's like the catch-all answer for just about everything website related, but it could be caching.
Oh yeah. It's like, hey, is it caching? And yeah, that's true.
I know that's like, it's almost like, have you turned it off and back on again? Like it's one of those answers, right. But it could be.
We have documentation,
especially if you're using Elementor. Caching. That's a problem.
Yeah, it does like an object cache. If you search for caching, we have a document that's like how we cache.
Oh, Martin's scheduler isn't working properly, so that's probably why they didn't expire.
Oh,
Martin,
okay. So
let's put you in. I will do it in Slack. But let's put you in contact with our lead dev on the action scheduler, because that is more relatively new, and so we are trying to figure out bugs with that. So
yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, Martin, I'll get you in contact with him and we can chat about it off YouTube.
Yeah. Good deal.
Okay, just for the sake of time and other really awesome questions.
Yeah, we'll get back on the
other two questions that Martin has, I will also answer in the community. The one for your membership start date that you asked about, I'm actually gonna also talk to another developer about, just so we can get the right answer for you. So
cool.
Well, we're going to move on to Jerry's submitted question. Is there any advantage to using the Pods plugin and Pods framework over the PMPro custom user fields?
It is different. So probably not. I think most people at this point can just use their built-in custom fields, and it does most of what you need to add fields to users. There's a couple of situations where pods are like another, fields plugin, like advanced custom fields or CMB2. Is it CMB2 custom? The one from Web Dev Studios. So one is if there's Pods integration with something else. So like if you're, Pods is like a development platform almost. It has integrations with a bunch of things and kind of tutorials on how to do different setups. And so if you're kind of already in the Pods universe or kind of want to use a Pods thing, you can combine the two plugins, and they both save things into user meta. And so most of the time things just kind of work how you would expect, and it's okay. The other benefit is Pods has functionality to create taxonomy fields as user meta. So I wonder how I could show that. It's a little bit complicated for me to add it here, but I can talk about posts. So taxonomy is like another word for category. So a category or a tag in WordPress, that's a taxonomy. And it's useful to, and then post, there's post meta. So a bunch of stuff is stored in post meta. Like if you edit a post, a bunch of the stuff in the side panel is like extra information that's also stored in post meta. So the same thing happens for users. By default, the fields that PMPro adds are stored in user meta. Excuse me. And also that's the default for pods too. Like it stores the information user meta, which is really good when you're searching for the user first. And then hey, give me the information about this user. It's really quick. If I know the user, to get the meta for that user. Taxonomies like categories and tags are useful if you want to do the opposite, where it's, hey, I have a category on my post called, I don't have any on here, but say I had picks, the underdog site has a category for like the, my NFL picks. And so it's like, I want to find all the NFL picks posts. There's a bunch of them. You could do a faster search if you store this as a taxonomy rather than a post meta. And so the same thing can apply to users. We use this on our own site for use cases, I believe. Like if you select a use case at checkout and say like, what's, are you doing newsletters or something like that? We store that as user taxonomies because it makes it easier for us to do a search, find me all the users that in this use case. And I say it makes it easier and faster on a site with more than 1,000 users. It becomes prohibitively slow to do that search. Definitely if you have 10,000 or 100,000 users on the site like we do, it's basically like a 30-second query if it's stored in user meta saying like, hey, get me all the users that have this user meta like this. So then you're like, hey, I have to use taxonomies for this. And anyway, so that's the long story short, use taxonomies. If you're doing that with pods, they have an interface to set up a taxonomy. So you can do it within the GUI of pods. If you're doing that with PMPro, we have a tutorial on our site. It takes a little bit of code. It's like, hey, this field.
I think I did another coding with Sam on that one too.
Okay, perfect. So
that one was challenging for me to code, but I think I did it.
And I think one of the issues with like doing taxonomies and user meta is you don't want to go back and forth. It's like once you say this is a taxonomy, like that's a taxonomy. Like if you switch to user meta, it's like the code's going to get confused. Like it's going to be meta for some people, taxonomies for others, and it won't know what to do. And it doesn't automatically like transition in the background or know that that's what you intended. So this is like something that you have to think of intentionally when you set it up, which means like, watch Sam's tutorial and do it as code. And it's like code you write once and use once and you don't change it a lot. It's fine. And so having a GUI on it, this is one of the reasons we haven't built a GUI on it. Like one, it's complicated and then you got to lock it down. It's kind of a thing you do only once and usually it's pretty technical. So copy and paste the code, but hopefully that's like an overview of what, PMPro's custom fields and pods. I'm sure that pods has other features, that we don't have, but those are the ones that stand out to me.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going back to the comment section for questions, and Donnie has a question as to even like why we're here today. So Donnie says, are we guaranteed to get all future updates and upgrades with the lifetime plan? Just upgraded to the lifetime plan today. Thank you, Donnie, for upgrading.
Hey, Donnie, thanks. Yeah. So let me see. It's funny, like this gets very like specific legal technical, and we have some information, I think, in our FAQ on the lifetime page. So I don't want to say something out of line. Am I right here? Yeah. How long is lifetime? So here's like the technical, like it's as long as there's something called PMPro Plus on our website, that's what you gain access to. As long as we offer it, right? So like if we disappear, something happens, like, there's like a bunch of weird catastrophic cases where we're not able to like, fulfill this order. So as long as the website's running, we're selling bundled support and add-ons, like you have access to that. There is, and that's update. So like, there is a chance that we're very fond now of this, like PMPro Plus gives you everything. And we like, that's like, you have access to all the add-ons and we don't separate what they are. We enjoy this because we're serving a wide range of platforms and use cases and customers. And it's kind of, we don't segmenting you into different use cases for the purpose of what you're paying becomes really complicated for us and you to maintain. And we like, most importantly, I think our support team is told, like, don't worry about what their membership is. Like when you're answering the ticket in our paid support queue, like just answer the question. And sometimes we notice like, hey, you're on the standard plan, but you're asking about a plus, like maybe remind you to take a look. But we don't want our support team to be a sales team. We want them to be a support team. We want, when we're interacting with you in the community and stuff, like it just flows. And so we don't want to, we're very unlikely to introduce a new add-on that is like, well, plus has everything, but not this new thing. Or we're very careful. We did shuffle around like what's in standard and what's in plus once, but we were very careful that like everyone affected just automatically got moved up to plus. Like we try to be customer friendly. If for example, like we have an ultimate plan and like it doesn't include stuff, whenever we do that, we're either trying to grandfather in the plus people or making it easy for you, like, you know, if you kind of reach out. So that's all I say. It's very unlikely that we kind of offer something on our site that's an add-on for PayMerchants Pro that's not included in that plus plan. Now, that doesn't mean it's not impossible. Like we're looking at some interesting services, like services that use AI compute to do things on your site, services that, you know, we send emails for you and we have to run an email service, services to make it easier for like hosting live video. So that it works with PayMerchants Pro, and also like our PMPro hosting product is like we're hosting your site and we're performing another service for you that's not delivering support and add-ons, and that has its separate price and, you know, payment scheme. So it's possible that we release something that, you know, is like, hey, I thought I'd get everything, but I don't get the AI thing. It's probably because the AI thing has like an ongoing payment service component. We have to pay for the AI compute, and so it's like we couldn't technically give that for free, and it wasn't already existing. If that happens, like we want to treat our lifetime customers well. So like, you know, reach out to us and be like, I'm hurt, and we'll figure out what makes sense where we're not going to lose a bunch of money as a business to give you something, try to give you a discount. We've done that for hosting. Lifetime members get a discount on the PMPro hosting when they purchase, you know, to kind of make up for the fact that they prepaid for plus, which becomes bundled with PMPro hosting. So it's hard to fill all the scenarios, but if you ever feel like, you know, you're getting the short end of the stick on this thing, we don't want that. So reach out and be nice, and we'll be nice back. And then the other thing is, you know, it's all open source and the code's out there. So that catastrophic version where, you know, the business is shutting down. Our business is doing very well, actually, by the way. Like it's, we're running well. And we're focused on the mission of supporting, you know, creators and associations that are getting paid on our platform. And we're focused on, you know, delivering good software and now like good hosting for you. So anyway, I'm talking about this stuff in the abstract. There's no like risk of something happening here, but it's, you know, we believe in open source. So we're always going to be putting out our code there that you're getting from us also. So there's like a little bit of a backup is like, you have to download it from GitHub for ongoing, or, you know, hopefully, man, I don't even want to think about it. It's like if we're on our next team trip, you know, there's like a tsunami on the beach and we all get wiped out. You know, the
Jason, don't put that in the universe. No. Okay, so now we have to plan the team trip anywhere in the world except for places that have tsunamis. So there, that will narrow it down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of hosting, Chaos Trader 63 is looking at PMPro Plus Hosting. Can you explain how it works, please? And also what LMS theme works best with PMPro?
Okay, great. Yeah. PMPro hosting, I love talking about it. It's awesome. And we're entering what we call the beta period. So we're going to be sending emails. If you become a free member at paidmembershipspro.com, if you're just watching this, you'll get on our mailing list and you'll be sure to get our offer for, you know, our hosting service. We're going to pull in another 100 people to host Paid Memberships Pro websites for. And basically how it works, there should also be some blog posts in the spirit of open source, some videos and blog posts coming out soon that just tell you how we do it, very literally. Excuse me, I shouldn't be drinking carbonated stuff on streams. So
I'm doing it too. So.
Yeah.
Well, next up, a burping competition.
I could, yeah, let's end it. Hit that like and subscribe, everybody. Let's go. If you want more burps. So the PMPro hosting, we've chosen DigitalOcean. It's basically, we host our own Paid Memberships Pro site. PaidMembershipsPro.com runs Paid Memberships Pro, and we've been hosting that forever. It's like the longest running Paid Memberships Pro site. I don't know if any of the original 4 are still around and running and using Paid Memberships Pro, but how we're basically sharing exactly how we host our own site, and that's on DigitalOcean with Apache, you know, MySQL and WordPress set up and configured how we like it, caching set up and configured how we like it, all using as much as possible open source tooling and stuff that you can change. And so that blueprint and that template, and there'll be a DigitalOcean template eventually, but it's kind of like, this is how we host our site, and it's the best, most performant way to host. And, like, I think we've put out some metrics, but it's roughly like you're getting, it's an incredible performance boost over like your traditional hosting setup. So I mean, I'll say it's often like 10 times faster. You have 10 times more resources like on our $100 a month plan that we'll launch with than you do, or you're paying 10 times as much. Like this $100 a month plan is comparable to a $1,000 a month plan on some hosts. And we don't kind of nickel and dime you for different feature sets. We basically like, hey, here's what we're paying DigitalOcean. We add a margin, and that's what we charge you. And that margin includes paid memberships pro, includes the support, a plus or a plus plan support. And then also us, managing and maintaining your web server for you. And what's great is it's a DigitalOcean web server. It's all your own. It's set to host one website. And if you ever want to just, hey, I want to stop paying you and host it on my own, we can transfer ownership over to you on DigitalOcean, and you'll just pay the base DigitalOcean fee and lose all the benefits on top. But in the meantime, it's like, not only did we come up with, how this set up the host on, we also know how to ongoing host it, and also like add support to it. So when, like keep the security up to date on your server, like you have to log in and run, updates at the server level and stuff like that to keep things up to date. There's new attacks that happen. If we're managing Cloudflare is another layer that we can do for you. That's like a firewall on top. So we'll set up a free Cloudflare with our best settings. And kind of as we learn, oh my God, there's this new attack and we had to do this thing on our server and it keeps things from happening. It's like, oh, we can deploy that to everyone who's hosting with us. And if you have some other issue, if you hosting with us is great, because if you update plugins in a weird order and they happen to compete over the login page or something else, and it throws a fatal error and stuff breaks on your site, we're often in support. Like we hate being in this position where we're like, you have to go to your host and kind of get them the help, or you have to give us access to your host, and that's complicated to share the login and give us the trust to like take a look at your site and things like that. If you're on our host, we'll be able to safely like, oh, I see the error log. Like, it's right there. Like, so we're excited about that. Is once you're on our hosting form, if you do run into an issue, and it's kind of inevitable in the WordPress space, like we give you all this power to install plugins and run custom code and customize things. That's the benefit of WordPress. And the kind of downside is that, it means that there's just a higher complexity to your site, and it's more likely to have, kind of integration issues at points. And you normally have to work those things out. And what we hate is if you go to your host and you work it out and they say, oh, you should change, it's your membership plugin, you should change it. And you're like, what? You're like, I'm paying Pay Memberships Pro all this money. I spent all this time setting it up. Pay Memberships Pro makes me all this money. I'm not changing my membership plugin. Like I'm using add-ons that aren't supported elsewhere. Like some hosts are better than others, but you get a bad experience from the host side. Kind of like they don't necessarily know how to fix the issue at the app level. And we don't necessarily know how to fix their issues at the server level because their setup is unknown to us, and they change over time. But our business model is not to get people on the host and then try to make the host as cheap as possible and like keep that margin. I think that's the very obvious business model for web hosts. They kind of scale horizontally, and they call it's cloud hosting, and they give you like a little bit of, access to the resources on the cloud. I'm talking generally, there's tons of hosts and some other work really well. Like we like member host as like a bespoke hosting. They do it totally different. They'll consult with you and figure out how to, get things set up exactly for your site. But if you don't need that kind of high touch service and you just want to run the exact hosting that we do, we'll set that up for you on DigitalOcean, and then manage it for you ongoing. And you should, have less downtime. We'll actually probably proactively fix things for customers. And I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about like our alpha users and what we've done. But we've been able to turn around on like some like subtle application issues because we have access and we can just fix things right away. And as we kind of develop like new caching methods and things like that to improve, or other ways to improve performance on your site, we like ship it to your host, and like your site just automatically gets faster and you benefit from it if you're using like our default setup. And there was a question there about something specific. Sorry, I was rambling.
LMS.
LMS theme. Yeah, so I know if you're using Lifter LMS for the LMS, SkyPilot is a theme that was coded by Kim on the team, and it was coded to work well with Paid Memberships Pro. So it'll look good. So if you're using Lifter LMS and their SkyPilot theme, it works well out of the box with Paid Memberships Pro. If you're using our PMPro courses add-on for your courses, which is like a lightweight LMS, we're adding features to it, but it doesn't have quizzes and a bunch of advanced features. Our member-like theme is the way to go. And a couple of big themes, if there's a theme you like most of the big common ones, like they work pretty good also as well. But member-like theme will work good for that. And then otherwise, I mean, I think you can, depending on which LMS plugin you choose, it's probably ask them which theme works well. And then you have to make sure does Paid Memberships Pro look good in that theme? And that's a question we could help out too. Some of them support, quite a few themes have kind of support our checkout design, and we try to code it so it looks okay. It's like try it out and see how it is. Usually works, and if you have problems, you can ask for support. But that's where I would start.
Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. We still have plenty of viewers watching, so I'm good to go over time until about 3:45, so there are 40-ish minutes. I do have a hard stop for another meeting at 4. But before we continue on with questions, I do want to just talk about upcoming events that we have with PMPro for a hot minute. So Jason, since you're sharing your screen, do you mind pulling up our live page?
Yeah.
And going to the event calendar tab.
Oh, sure.
Perfect. All right. So tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, I will be back live for an open office hours with Robert from MelaPress. We are going to be demoing the new integration that they just launched with WP Activity Log working with Paid Memberships Pro. So that will be an interesting demo. Bring your questions for that.
Yeah. And I think
it was literally just launched this week. So we're still working on like our documentation and their documentation. I think they launched on Monday.
Yeah. This is a great integration. Like that plugin activity log logs everything people do in WordPress. I mean, or almost everything. And it has a bunch of plugin integrations. And this feature, I wasn't as interested in this early on. I was like, I don't care what people on my site are doing. But now actually we are like, our marketing is a little more sophisticated, a little more hands-on. And we're like, I wonder which pages they looked at. I wonder what these people have done. And this also helps in situations where you have a team of admins editing a site. And we've had this case where people are like, I don't know why this person automatically gets expired every time I give them the membership back. And then we find out that, Susan in the office didn't get the memo and she keeps canceling that member. And it was like, because we dig in and we're like, there's no code that does this. Like a human must have logged in and canceled. And they're like, oh my God, we forgot to tell Susan that this is like a VIP customer. And you're like, oh, well, that's it. So it's like, okay, there's like a human issue, but WP Activity Log will log that kind of stuff as well. If I'm not mistaken, tune in tomorrow to find out, the things that your admins are doing to the site. So it's like, who edited that page? It's like, there's a log of it and you can see who made any change on your site. And it's pretty powerful.
And that's something that I'm excited for as the sales and marketing manager with all of those hands-on things that we're doing. It's great to see like what admin did, that refund or that level change. I don't know if the thing does it, but if the integration and the log does it, I guess we'll find out tomorrow, is if it also tracks things like who added a new level or created a discount code and kind of like the nitty gritty, or maybe if it's not already a thing, maybe it will be in the future.
Yeah, that could be I'd have to
we'll explore it tomorrow at 2 p.m.
We put a big list of everything and we were like, there's like the wish list and fast follow, or once you have that activity log installed, custom code to add things that aren't logged yet. It's pretty fun. So
yeah.
Sweet.
And then on Friday, we have Coding with Sam. It is a perfect introductory little series, short episodes, 15, 20 minutes, where I go live and I code something that customizes your membership site. And if I can do it live with no coding experience, you can do it on your membership site. In fact, I just had a customer call before we went live, and she was so lost and so baffled. And I said, please just go watch a couple episodes Coding with Sam and I think you'll understand it. And she was shocked that my experience prior to this job was preschool teaching and school photography. So if I can do it, you can do it.
Good deal. All righty.
And that wraps up October. We do have more questions. Yes. Okay, so I'm scrolling through the comments for the questions. Okay, so Tom wants to know, what is the best add-on to create event registration form?
Oh man, do you have a good answer?
That's a loaded question. I mean, it really depends on what you want to do with your events. Are you wanting to charge people for your events, or is it simply just finding out if they're coming to an event? Because if you're charging members and non-members and you want them to have different pricing and everything, that gets more complicated. And I am working on a pretty decent workaround. At least I hope it will be a decent workaround. But if you're wanting, you said yes, but I don't know what you said yes to. If you could just be more specific in your comment, Tom. And they're using WooCommerce. Oh, so I'm okay. I'm out now.
Yeah, it's like, what do they do? Yeah, it is tricky because I often, like, sometimes, like, associations by event, they mean like the annual conference that only happens one time a year. And in that case, a lot of times it's like, oh, don't even bother using an event plugin. Just, kind of, you could create a membership level that is for people to register for the event. It expires after the thing, and you just charge for access, and you send custom information to show up at a certain place at a certain time. And you don't really need like the fancy calendar view that we have, which we do with, like, do we do that with like Google? We don't use a plugin for that. But if you're like, hey, every week we have like meetups and we keep track of them, there's a lot of things. There needs to be a calendar, and then we're charging for some, or we want to give like discounts. Like the feature set gets different, and it's like you have to do some more research about which events plugin is going to work for you based on like the specific needs that you have. So we have a PMPro events plugin.
They do want to charge separate prices, but they're also using WooCommerce, which, like, that changes the game for everything.
Yeah, so it's like a question for
that's
WooCommerce,
why
maybe. Like, use it. Yeah. But like, if you want to see which events plugins that we kind of played nicest with, it's like, Events Manager, the Events Calendar, Sugar Calendar. I kind of paused because I'm like, I think at any given time, our support team and stuff has like their favorite ones. Kim's in the chat. I don't know if she has like a favorite one she worked with, but
she just said events as levels aren't a bad idea. It's how she was planning to set one up for us. And I mean, I'm planning on setting up an event as a level for my dad's metal detecting club website, because it's a hunt that they have once a year. And they want to charge people the same price, whether they're a member or not, as like just as an admission fee to cover the cost of the event. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing as a level. But when you have WooCommerce at play as well, it like, and so at that point it becomes who's handling checkout and what plays.
Some events are like they also want like the check-in experience, like automatically generate a QR code, and they have to scan it when they get in and generate badges and manage room assignments. And I'm not even familiar with like the events plugins. And there's third-party events plugins that, sites that do things, and they may have integration with WordPress, WooCommerce. I don't think we integrate with any third-party services, but you can kind of build manual integration. So that's a kind of loaded question. Hopefully that gives you some things to look into.
Yeah, the workaround that I'm working on is in regards to event plugins that specifically use roles to determine who gets charged what. Because when you're using a plugin like that, you can then use our roles add-on to assign a role to a specific membership level to then allow the events calendar plugin to handle that checkout for the specific role based on the level that they have. So I mean, it's quite a complicated workaround. But again, you're throwing in WooCommerce, and then that just kind of, I'm not an expert in WooCommerce. I don't even pretend to be.
Get some other questions.
Yes. Okay. So scrolling back through, we got Tom's question. All right.
Is Jerry Matson or Jennifer here? Oh, I just said
we answered Jerry's submitted question. I don't know if Jennifer's here, but I will reply to Jennifer because she sent an email. But Jerry did have another question in the comments. Are you aware of an AI engine that will help manage a WordPress site? IOW can see through a login and protected content.
See through. That's interesting. Like we'd love to hear about that see-through in like if you reach out to us. And I don't know what IOW is standing for. What is? Am I not thinking? Is that a internet? In other words, is it?
Is it?
Okay. It's funny. Sometimes I was like, I haven't heard of that one. I know OpenAI, ChatGPT. Okay. So the question, like an AI plugin to help build with WordPress. There's a few out there, and I don't know like who's doing it best. I wish I had. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head like what they were called. There was one that got acquired by Automatic, and I feel like that product is being worked on. The builder, a lot of the builders have AI features kind of built in where you chat to it and it gives you good content. That'd be interesting for us to do research and try to figure it out. That tech is like, it's changing so much that we're kind of waiting for it to mature. And I've talked about it before that. I think we have some other videos where we talk about AI, and maybe we could find that one it's kind of out of date now. It's been like a year, but we talk about how we think about AI, and there's just like, at what level do you want to integrate the AI? Like it could be at the browser, it could be on your phone and you're talking to it next to you. It could be, built into WordPress. It could be in ChatGPT and you copy and paste. And people, so there's kind of different ways people are developing it. But maybe if there's a more specific, I'd love to hear about how it's seeing through the site, because there's a bunch of ways. Like there's WordPress exposes like APIs, RSS feeds, and other kind of formats of your content. And that is a thing that we do, is we protect, quote unquote, the content in WordPress. And then we also double check on that RSS feed and the APIs and stuff like that to make sure that like content doesn't bleed through on your site. That said, like we said, you can do whatever you want with WordPress, or you're running other plugins, and maybe, the events calendar creates a calendar somewhere, and we don't, we're not programmed to look at that. So we can try to, sometimes we have to harden things if you're using like WordPress in a clever way. Or if you want the AI to crawl the site, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Kim said, if the AI has a WordPress user, it fakes as, can you give it a level? Sounds like you want the AI to be able to bypass all content restrictions.
Yeah, that's one. It's good practice to make a free level, and make sure you could, or like, you always don't expect the user in WordPress to have any restrictions. Like we create users on the fly, and our paid membership pros restrictions are tied to the membership level. So if you require a level for things, that will block people who don't have that level from accessing it, but users will have access. And then I think if you were worried about AI crawling your site, it's kind of the same rules as Google crawling the site.
They want to have AI X-ray all of their plugins and make recommendations.
Yeah.
That's
I wonder. No, that's interesting. I don't know anything yet. I know like kind of nerdy technical things. You should chat about this in the community, and I can kind of find some things as they come up. If you're using stuff like Claude Code or Codex and Gemini Code, are like these kind of AI that help you code and build stuff on your website. Like there's something called MCPs, which I forget what that stands for, but it's like an API to tell the AI like what your WordPress site is like. The other thing to look into is llms.txt. And if you go to like our website and llms.txt, and I think the SEO plugins, or at least Yoast, will try to auto-generate something like this, but I think it's not necessarily that good, the auto-generated one, you could just plop this file on your server and write it yourself, or have ChatGPT write it for you, or like help you write it. But it's basically just like a human readable and also AI readable format of like, hey, this is what this website's all about and where all the stuff is. And having this will help the AI when it's crawling your site. And if you find some tool, or like if you had this on your site and then you kind of passed it to ChatGPT, it would, be able to like browse your site. But I mean, I think you're looking for more of a tool. Like I think it'd be a little more complicated if you wanted to kind of actually ingest your whole site and have a really good understanding of it. You could also try to like export your site to PDF somehow. I don't even know if people make that easy in WordPress, but then upload that PDF to like a ChatGPT custom GPT, and then it would, kind of see your site. Maybe that gives you some directions. We should follow up in the community, but I don't know anything kind of specifically like that, but people do stuff similar to that. Yeah.
Definitely an interesting conversation for the community.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chris has a question. May have missed this, which I don't think you do. I don't think we talked about this. But does PMPro have a feature to send a user a one-time code for login rather than a password reset link?
Chris, we don't have something like that now, but we love that. And we're on Thursday going to have our betting table where we choose what we're working on. And that is a pitch that was written by Kim. And you will add an extra vote for you at the table. I'm pretty sure that one's going to get voted in. And we, so actually you kind of have a chance if you're in the community, like chime in, like who you think does this well. And like specific, there's a couple questions about how to do it, but we have a pretty good idea of, if I'm looking at the login page, have a little, or send me a one-time code by email. You click it, enter your email, it sends you the code if there's a user with that email on the site, and then you just click the link and you log in. Actually, I think we're doing a link, not a code. And we talked about that too. There'll probably be a fast follow for a code, because there's a use case where you're like, I only have email on my phone and I'm on a computer that, it's kind of complicated to follow a link from the email on my phone on the website. But I think we're going to have like a send me a login link feature pretty soon. And the way we do, so we build stuff in quarters, we bet on Thursday, people start working the following week. And by the end of the year, we'll have coded this feature if it's one of the ones that we picked. And sometimes we code something and we're not able to release it yet. But if you get active in the community, what we like to do is find people to beta test things. And so if you kind of like ping us over there in the Slack community, we can keep you up to date. Like if we get it done sooner and say, hey, here's a GitHub repo, you can download it and use it and tell us how it works and stuff like that to get it even sooner. But that's coming. That's a feature we're actively working on.
And if you're not in our Slack community, I'm dropping a link in the comments for how to join our Slack community.
Yeah.
And yes, I will make sure that you get a vote at the table, Chris. Okay. So a couple more questions. I've got about like 20 minutes before I have to absolutely sign off.
Yep.
So I will try to get the comments that are already here, and then we'll be wrapping up. And again, you can always bring comments to the Slack channel or a contact form. Osam wants to know, is it already possible to use PayPal via Stripe checkout as well?
So my understanding of this was that this was only enabled in locales where you can get Stripe, but you can't get PayPal. Yeah, I'm saying that right. So, or yeah, or maybe it's vice versa. Hold on. Is it locales that you can only get PayPal, but not Stripe? You can get Stripe to send. So the question is like, this is a question for Stripe, like whatever, nation that you created your businesses in and attached to your Stripe account. It may or may not be when you go into the Stripe dashboard and go to the business settings, and then you can add payment methods. You should see PayPal in that list if it's available to you. But I do think it's like in the United States, for example, we can sign up for Stripe and we can sign up for PayPal. And I think you can't use PayPal through Stripe. They want you to use, PayPal separately, and you can use our Add PayPal Express add-on as a way to get both. So that's a maybe. Ask Stripe. Question answer.
Yeah, it does. Any of the additional ways to check out via Stripe, it's all locale based. So, you know, if you're not seeing something that you think you should see, it's definitely a Stripe question. Okay.
Let's see if I can safely log in the Stripe to hand wave through stuff next time. I'll do a screen.
Your screen is not on the live stream, so you can do whatever.
That's good. Okay, good. Yeah, I might move this one over. But anyway, we can take the next question. I'll have this on here.
Yeah, I'm looking, making sure I got it. Okay. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. Jaroslav wants to know, do you have an overall video to make me understand right usage of default WordPress users compared to your add-on? How does it work together? What is it used for, etc.?
I think we
on the Rolodex of PMPro, and I don't think I have a video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there is like a blog post. It's like, why do you have to have a user first? And we also we talked. There was someone else who was struggling with this concept of users versus member, and we were like, we haven't built it yet, but I know, and at least I mentally had a note of, hey, let's improve our documentation around this. But yeah, maybe we can find that one. It's like why we have a user. I think it talks about some of the technicals.
Yeah, we have a blog post of like why we create the user first.
Yeah, because that's kind of that has a lot of information you're really asking. Is like, what is that case where someone would have a user but not be a member? And we kind of temporarily create users at checkout, and we have a way to clean them up, and stuff like that. But basically, I think you want to, if you're using Paid Memberships Pro, you really want a membership level for, you know, if you're paying, and oftentimes you want to create a free level for things and treat that free level like you want to treat users. Of course, there's a bunch of plugins and they all do things based on users. And that, like, you know, try to work that out with us. You know, because we often, for the big things, have integrations that kind of, hey, you know, just because they're a user, we don't want to send them on the mailing list. Only if they're in this level, send them to the mailing list. Like, you know, you'll have to use like our integrations for things. There also is, in WordPress, has the idea of like roles and capabilities. And this is another one that sometimes is different from how the other membership plugins or things you're doing work. But the kind of default is to assume like a role is administrator is a role. So they have access to admin. And if you have people who are authors, they can only add posts. Typically your members are subscribers. They can only read stuff. So there's like a subscriber role. And that's the default setup, is like the administrators can do everything. Subscribers can do some things. We have a membership manager add-on that creates like a new role called membership manager. So if you have someone that you don't want them to be able to edit pages on their site, but they help process refunds, you can use our membership manager add-on for that. And then we also have like the PMPro roles add-on, which is if you have other things in WordPress that are, you know, they want to do things based on roles because there's no direct Paid Memberships Pro integration. You can, through that PMPro roles plugin, like give people a role per membership level, and then, you know, that would trigger something in some other plugin. So like,
yeah, and that's what I was talking about, my workaround for the events plugin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Using that method.
And it is, I think, a productive way to do this. Yeah, someone's saying like the steam coming out my ears, is to figure out like specifically what you're trying to do, and then ask our support team or ask in the community, and we can give like that more direct, because it's one of those it depends things. Sometimes you're like, oh, like, you know, just ignore it. They're a user and don't worry about it. Sometimes it's, you know, oh, you want to use a role to do that. And sometimes it's, we have an integration for that. Don't do it this other way. You know, use our integration instead.
Yeah. Just so people understand where the smoke is coming from. Kim said, if I don't get to say it, these AMAs are very exciting, but a bit exhausting as hosts, and you two are rocking it. Even if you need a nap after, thank you. And Jerry added, yes, it's fun to watch all the smoke coming out of his head. I mean, it is really fun though, because I mean, it's like PMPro rapid fire knowledge for both of us.
And this is hard for us. And like this is why the community is important. Like, yeah, if, and we try to educate folks, but it's kind of, it's complicated. There's a lot of different answers for things, and it kind of depends.
Yeah.
Cool. What else is going on?
I think that's pretty much all the questions we have. So if you want to wrap it up with, we're here because the lifetime sale is ending today. So if you want to wrap it up with telling us about the lifetime sale, and there is a common question that I've gotten a lot of, when there will be another lifetime sale.
Oh, okay, so that's good. That's important. So I mean, the lifetime deal, as we said earlier in the show, and maybe go back if you're watching the VOD or you're skipping ahead, like you're going to have access to Pay Memberships Pro. You pay once, and then you have support and add-on updates forever, as long as we possibly can serve them. And I don't know if it's important to note, but we're able to do that. Like we only run these sales every so often, and we really monitor the lifetime. It's not an issue now, but if people ever bought, like all they were buying was the lifetime deal, we would start to get worried. Like, oh my God, are we going to have the cash flow to support these people forever? But we as a business have figured out we can have a certain number of lifetime members. And like, we know that we'll always, like, we'll be able to support them basically forever, and we don't have to cut them off. And it's a good deal. Like, there's people who use Pay Memberships Pro for 10 plus years. Like, and it's, if you're really going to use it that long, you not only lock in your price, but you pay now, and you don't have to pay in the future. And I think it's also just good for certain use cases. You're like, I'd rather not worry about it. I don't want an ongoing thing. This is like a one-time contract with I'm a developer and they're a customer, and I don't want to have to maintain and hand off this license key. Can I just kind of manage it one time? And so the lifetime deal really is meant for folks to make it easier, that you just pay once. And we, like I said, we'll likely run we try to run sales in general every quarter, like about 4 per year is the right pace of, running sales to, people kind of, after 3 months, we have new people in the pipe that haven't seen a sale yet, and we can kind of put a sale in there. And I don't know, we won't always put the lifetime on sale when we put the PMPro Plus on sale. Like I said, we're kind of managing how many people get in. So it is good to take advantage of the sale while it's here. I will say, though, that if you are waiting like a couple days, a week, maybe 2 weeks, if you're getting back to us, or after the Black Friday sale, I don't know if we'll actually don't know. We'll have to figure it out. We may or may not run the lifetime sale on Black Friday, right? We're figuring that out. But if you get back to us within a few weeks to a month or around Black Friday, say, hey, it was on sale last month, can I still get in? And ask nicely by email. We will try to give you we'll look at what was the price of the last sale. Let's give you that price. So we almost always can do that if you're asking nicely for things. But I mean, that all said, we still have the 100% money back guarantee. This is pricey for us we eat the fees, 3% of the lifetime deal when people do that. But that's okay. It's kind of like, if you sign up for the lifetime deal, you gain access to everything. We bring you into the community. The other thing we do is people who've paid lifetime have a separate channel still. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's an exclusive lifetime channel in our Slack community where you get to mingle with people who are only the lifetime.
Yeah. So it's like a special little club of folks who, are kind of all in on Pay Memberships Pro that way. And if you get all of that and you're setting up your site and it doesn't work for you for some reason, you can talk to us and we'll give you a refund. Or kind of we have this PMPro hosting coming out. So if you're like, man, I get the lifetime plan, but then maybe I actually want the hosting, and that PMPro Plus is bundled in, talk to us. We have ways, we're crediting what you've paid on the lifetime across the lifetime of your hosting plan, so that you didn't waste money. Your money gets applied to things and things like that. So it's
Young Architect said we got the lifetime and it was easy decision to make. And just to let everybody know, I actually talked to Young Architect on the phone. We do have a phone number you can call and actually talk to me if you have questions about the lifetime or any of our plans. I will sit on the phone and talk with you, or you can text me, or you can email me. You can ask me for a video call link.
Yeah, we'll follow up and take care of you. And I'll finish by saying we are committed to open source, and putting this plugin out there for folks to use. And I think if you're kind of considering using Paid Memberships Pro, like try it out and try it out. If try it out for free, like if you're all in, so yeah, you could try it out for free. Like don't hesitate on that, because we all of the software and a lot of our documentation is available for free, and it's for most use cases it's kind of easy enough to get set up and running on your own. And something 90% of people running the plugin are just running the software, and that's an option that should be spoken. But what we do know is, it's the people who are paying for PMPro Plus and getting automatic updates and extra support and better access in our Slack and availability of Sam's text messages to our sales phone number. Like everyone who's paying for those services, like they get their website set up faster. They get more out of it. They benefit from that subscription. They a lot of our premium add-ons that are easier to install if you already have like a license key and are a paying member, and you just one click install from the dashboard. A lot of them just kind of make you money and make up for the price, like getting like better proration built in, and abandoned cart add-on. And reason for canceling is like, I love that one, is just adding a text box that says, hey, why are you canceling? And we make it's optional, and or people can just put ... or whatever in that field. It's not like a cumbersome cancel process, but just getting people to self-reflect and be like, why are you canceling? Like, it's something like last time we tested 10% fewer cancellations. So there's all kinds of like awesome little improvements that you can make to your website to optimize it, that you'll get if you have an active site that's pulling money in. Like you'll make more money on your site, and things like that. So it's the PMPro Plus and the lifetime. If you're sure that you're all in on the site, and you're trying to set it up to the best of its ability, and pay in advance, get it, and you'll be running PMPro Plus on your site forever. We're sticking around. We're going to keep supporting this. I mean, if we can avoid the tsunami. So I have to respect
the tsunami that Jason put on us in the future. Yeah.
This is, I don't know.
And there are multiple people in the comments saying that Lifetime was the best decision they've made. So if anything that Jason is saying does not resonate with you, these are real people. We pay them to say this. They're just really good customers. So
we got Tom has a question, but we've
got like about 5-ish minutes left, but real quick, Tom said, can I run PMPro without WooCommerce and just use Stripe? Yes.
Yes. And we prefer that you do that. Yeah, recommend you do that. That's our preferred gateway, and we integrate directly with Stripe. And it'll work much smoother with you if you just use PMPro without WooCommerce.
And there's less add-on conflicts as well if you are not using WooCommerce.
If you need a shopping cart, and you should really make sure you need a shopping cart, because sometimes you're like, I just like the way it looks, or I like the UI, but it's like, do you have like 50 SKUs and your customers are often picking and choosing and buying a bunch of random other things? One, maybe run that alongside Paid Memberships Pro for the t-shirts and stuff, and use just Paid Memberships Pro for your membership. That's a good setup. Or two, you don't really need inventory, or if you have inventory or a shopping cart, or something else that WooCommerce does, like maybe you do it. But if you're running a membership site and you are selling memberships and a few other things on the side, just use Paid Memberships Pro with the direct integration is the way to go.
Yeah, that's the way we recommend it.
Cool. Yep.
All right. So
sweet.
Tomorrow, 2:00 Eastern PM, I will be back here with Robert from MeloPress. We're going to talk about that WP activity log, and then I'll be back again on Friday morning.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
Stay tuned for a word from Kim Coleman.
I hope you got some value out of what you just watched. If you're serious about building a profitable membership site, the fastest way to launch or scale is with a premium plan at paidmembershipspro.com. We've made it as affordable as possible to get started, and most people who upgrade stick with us for years. Why? Because they're making money, and we keep delivering expert support, premium add-ons, and a private community of over 1,000 creators building businesses just like yours. Click the link to compare plans or keep learning. We'll see you in the next video.